Is this thing on? Hello? Testing. Hello? Testing. Is it on? Max, I'm talking to the television, you frickin' dog. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the TV. I'm talking to the gosh darn television. Look at this Max. Oh, you can't see him. Holy shit. Imagine not being able to see this Max. The world's #1 motherfucking Max dog in the history of Maxes. Max, what the hell? Why are you over here? What the fuck? Why are you coming out from under? What are you doing, dog? This guy's crazy. You can't see this, but I mean, this is like one of those old-fashioned radio broadcasts. You ever hear of this thing? Radio? It's like YouTube, but without the video. You know? You ever hear this shit? Radio. Look it up. I'm just serious. It actually did exist. People did that. That's what this is. Maxie, what the fuck? No, he's now licking my foot. All right, Max. Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is the Above It All program. I guess I should do this. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. This is the Above It All program. Today is Monday, so I'd like to say hello to everybody for Monday. So it's Monday there. If anyone didn't catch it, I did a little bit of a video over the weekend. Because some people asked me to, and you know what, I felt like it, so, that's the X factor, by the way. People ask me to do things all the time, but what matters is whether or not I feel like doing them, so, know that in the future. But anyway, doing a show here today. Maybe my name's pronounced Sue Life instead of Soul Life. Well, that's your own personal problem. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody, except for Sue Life. Also, got a show going on today. What should I start today's program with? Let's start it with this. So, in Texas, there's some fucked up shit going on, and there's a bunch of dead fish everywhere. Did anyone see these photos? I saw these photos all over the place. People are like, yo, did you see these dead fish everywhere? Yeah, there's fucking dead fish. They're all over the place, just dead fish. They're just, and so let's check this out. Texas Gulf Coast beach covered as thousands of dead menhaden fish wash ashore. So as you can see, thousands, seemingly even tens of thousands, possibly even hundreds of thousands, dead motherfucking fish. Let's find out. Thousands of dead menhaden fish washed ashore on a beach in Gulf Coast of Texas Friday morning, according to county officials. Quintana Beach County Park said the dead fish were found at the far end of Bryan Beach, near the mouth, what the fuck, of Brazos River, approximately 6 miles down the coast of, who the fuck gives a shit about any of this? County officials said warmer water, which can't hold as much oxygen as cooler water, was to blame for the mass fish deaths. When water rises above 70 degrees Fahrenheit, it becomes hard for menhaden to receive enough oxygen to survive, Quintana Beach County Park said in a Facebook post. Shallow waters warm more quickly, and if menhaden become trapped, they will suffer from hypoxia, a state where the oxygen levels are insufficient to maintain homeostasis. In these circumstances, the fish will behave more erratically, further depleting their oxygen levels. In a nutshell, it was the perfect storm to deplete oxygen levels ashore, blah blah blah. So anyway, we got some dead ass fish going on, and I just want to say this: don't worry. Birds dropping out of the sky, dead deer in Ohio, dead fish in Texas, the coral reef falling apart. Don't worry, everyone. Everything is fine. So keep burning your fossil fuels. Everything's good to go. Keep buying plastic products. It's all good. And everyone will be fine. So if anyone also, hey, we have a problem with world hunger. look at this. We got a whole bunch of free ass fish, you know, am I right? So, and I don't eat fish. I say this as someone who doesn't eat fish, but I'm just saying, people complain about world hunger. You know, climate change is probably a good thing. Look at how the, the climate's changing. We got more free fish just washing up on the shores of the ocean. You know what I mean? I say this. Score one for climate change. Score one for the fossil fuel industry. Hey, maybe I'll go buy a car tomorrow. You know, so anyway, there you go. Some dead ass fish in Texas. It's always good news, I suppose. You know, got to open up stories. Show with dead fish. So there you go. Our state banned plastic bags, but I wonder if it's offset by the plastic and the fabric of the cheap reusable bags they sell. Well, either way, I mean, reusable bags are better than plastic bags. I agree with the ban on plastic bags. I know a lot of people, they may think that that's government overreach. I agree with the ban on plastic bags. I think that that's some of the most wasteful shit in the world. I also think we should ban plastic for food. We should not be using plastic anywhere near food. Food and plastic should be as far away from each other as possible. Drink, water, soda, any kind of treat should be far away from as plastic as possible. That's my opinion. But plastic bags is a no-brainer. I mean, paper bags are just better anyway. You could put handles on paper bags. That's fine. So that's one of the few things that I do agree with. I say this as someone who uses reusable bags when I go shopping. Also known as a backpack, something fancy that needed to be invented recently. A backpack, Anyway. Got some dead ass fish. Is anyone drinking coffee today? Paper bags are not better if you don't reuse them. Yeah, let's agree to disagree on this one, okay? Put it simply, I disagree. So, let's keep going. I just want to give a quick shout out to Tetrasan in the chat room for copying and pasting my Doom levels and releasing them as their own. So shout outs to Tetrasan, the world's least careful forgist, in the history of the world. So congratulations. Anyway, let's keep going. So a lot of people are out here talking about the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court. No, the Supreme Court has done the right thing. You ever hear these motherfuckers out there? Look at this. The Supreme Court win for voting rights. Really? You think it's a win for this is my problem. Here's the headline for you. Supreme Court orders voting maps redrawn in Alabama as to accommodate black voters in surprise ruling. So the Voting Rights Act theoretically is restored, okay? And why are people celebrating this? Because they're fucking stupid, okay? I need you to understand. Now I get it. I understand, people feel the need to celebrate short-term wins, but I need you to understand that this is not a short-term win. This is not a long-term win. This is not a win at all in any capacity. Now, I don't want to sit here and tell you, oh, look, I'm a doomer. Everything is bad. But I'm going to explain to you why this is not a win and why pretending that the Supreme Court is winning is actually doing their dirty work. What this is supposed to be doing, this whole ruling, is designed to enable people to think, maybe the court's not that bad. Look, they did something good for once. Maybe let's not impeach them. Oh, look, they did something reasonable. Maybe let's not pack the court. The whole point of these kinds of rulings are to tamp down dissent. They understand that the Supreme Court is an extremely unpopular institution. They know it's mired in scandal after scandal after scandal. Multiple Supreme Court members are bought and paid for. Their votes are in the pockets of billionaires. So what they're going to do is they're going to cut some things around the edges, and people are going to like sing their praises. Oh, the Supreme Court. Oh, look how great they are. Oh, look, they care about black people. You think the Supreme Court gives a fuck about black people? Like, I mean, again, you have to be the dumbest motherfucker in the history of dumb motherfuckers to think for even a second, yeah, the Supreme Court, they definitely care about black people. Really? Really? You fucking think they give a fuck about black people? Okay, that's interesting. Anyway, let's read. The Supreme Court on Thursday ordered Alabama officials to redraw the state's congressional map to allow an additional black majority district to account for the fact that the state is 27% black. The decision that affords additional opportunities for minority voters to elect the candidate of their choice comes as a surprise given the conservative majority on the court. Alabama currently has 7 congressional districts, which with 6 are represented by Republicans. Supporters of voting rights had feared that the court was going to make it harder for minorities to challenge maps under Section 2 of the Historic Voting Rights Act. Chief Justice John Roberts penned the opinion for the 5-4 majority, siding with the court's 3 liberals. Justice Brett Kavanaugh agreed with key parts of the holding. Now, Brett Kavanaugh. Now, again, listen to me here. If you think Brett Kavanaugh, okay, just had like, black people. You know what? I've been doing some thinking. You know what? I actually like black people now. You think Brett Kavanaugh was rolling over in his sleep. He couldn't sleep at night. He's like, I got it. Black people are people and they should be able to vote. Like, you think Brett Kavanaugh has been bought and paid for since years before he even got on the Supreme Court. Once again, if you don't know this key fact, when Brett Kavanaugh was being confirmed, he had a shitload of debt, financial obligations. And then, magically, as soon as he became a member of the Supreme Court, all of his debts, they got disappeared. Some rich guy, that, according to my understanding, we still don't know the name of or identity of, could be Harlan Crow for all we know. Some rich guy literally wiped out all of Brett Kavanaugh's gambling debt, all that kind of stuff. This guy is bought and paid for. This guy is not an independent actor. Literally, if anybody wants to tell you that Brett Kavanaugh made any sort of decision whatsoever, they're lying to you, they're gaslighting you. Nobody, I'm telling you, nobody, there is not a single body that would pay off some guy's entire debt history and go like, you know what? You're a great guy, have fun in life, and then never talk to them again. I'm telling you, motherfuckers, this is part of a scam. Now, what is the scam? Well, again, in the short term, black people have more right to vote. What does that do? It tells black people, go vote, everybody. The United States is a legitimate regime, and you can vote and actually affect the outcome. That is the core scam of what's going on here, is to enable that these institutions, yeah, they actually are fair. Look, we're doing 99% of our rulings with Republicans, and 1% of them are helping out black people vote for someone in Alabama. Aren't we so beautiful? Aren't we so wonderful? Continue to pay taxes. Continue to walk around and actively participate in a society that is very blatantly not really even a society. So again, now, is it a win in the short term? I'm not even convinced of that. Because what is the short term here? Black people are going to vote in Alabama. We're going to get an extra black representative in Alabama. And then what? And then what? Is that really that's going to shift the balance of power? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, and again, I mean, I'm not saying, of course, obviously, this is the correct decision. But when somebody who you know is bought and paid for by slave owners is telling you, hey, I got something good for you. Check this out. I would be a little skeptical. That's just my opinion. So again, everyone out there is saying maybe the Supreme Court is actually an institution that's not something that should be abolished after all. And that is the scam. I need you to understand, like, what is the short term here? Really? You think Republicans are concerned about one representative in Alabama? They don't give a fuck about any of this shit. You know? They don't give a fuck about any of this shit. And also, again, why would Republicans give you a win unless it's a fucking mousetrap? They're dangling the cheese and they want you to walk right into it. So, hey, I say this. Take the win, use the win, but be skeptical because there's something else down the pike. Now, again, what did these guys do recently? What did the Supreme Court single-handedly destroyed the right to unionize in this country? They made it essentially so that if you go on strike, your boss can sue you for lost wages, right? Or for lost profits, right? What? So you're telling me the only power a union has, their ability to strike, if you now go on strike, your boss can just sue you for all you're worth because you went on strike. The right to unionize is gone in this country. Now, again, we might still have this situation where people might unionize and then there's going to be playing out in the courts. But fundamentally, if someone can get sued for going on strike, there is no right to a union in this country. They did that a couple weeks ago, okay? Now, again, we might still live in this world where some places have unions and they do operate, but give it a couple more court cases and that shit's gonzo. Okay, I need you to understand. What did they do? They destroyed the Clean Water Act. You want to drink water from the kitchen sink? Not in America, you don't, because the Supreme Court said, fuck that shit. Let's leadify our water. Let's put fucking chemicals in our water. Let's put microplastics in our water, right? So again, you know, a lot of people that don't pay attention to politics, they're going to see this shit. They're going to go, oh, wow, look, the Supreme Court, look how great they are. Black people are allowed to vote again or whatever, as if that's going to change the balances of power. Meanwhile, Republicans are slowly going on their brainwashing campaign to get black people to become Republicans, which is actually working at an alarming rate. You know, again, a lot more minority groups, you see this a lot with immigrants, you know, like in certain communities like Cuban immigrants, and you see this a lot with other sort of immigrant communities that are just flocking to the Republican Party. I don't know how. I assume it's because they really want to be white and they, you know, they're trying to get as close as they can. They'd rather be the pet than, you know, to be the food. That's my imagination. That's what I think. But again, Republicans, this is all part of their plan to destroy the country. And if you think this is even really a short-term win, I ask you, what is the short-term win? What is the short-term win? That in a year and a half from now, we might get 1 or 2 extra members of Congress? Really? That's a short-term win? I don't fucking think so. I don't think that that's a win at all. I don't think that that's anything. But hey, maybe I'm just a little bit of a doomer here. I'm not sure. But there you go. That's my opinion on the Supreme Court and their so-called ruling. I have heard of Chem Dog. I don't know if it's my favorite strain. I don't keep favorite strains in mind. I make tinctures, and I like to mix and match them. So I like to create tinctures and then just like, you know, just, so I don't really do strains particularly. Mila, I swear to God, if you fuck with me on nuclear power one more time, I agree with you like 99%. I just like sci-fi, okay? Come on now. Well, Brooke H., it's always men in general. Men are always going to be the first ones to jump ship into the racist wagon. I mean, it's always going to be the case, you know? What am I going to do, Mila? Well, I might report you to the board. Yeah. Yeah, now see, everyone? This is how conflict resolution takes place. Report some motherfuckers to the board. Forgot to take my pills this morning, so I'm going to do that live on stream, so bear with me. All right. We got a show. Monday on the show. All right. Let's talk about... All right. Let me get my stories ready here. All right, this one looks like fun. One of my favorite parts of living in the United States of America is even though we have a multi-billion-dollar entertainment industry, what does the entertainment industry do? They make movies. Movies where, you know, people shoot guns and kill each other, but it's okay because it's all pretend. I say, why go to the movies when we're living in America? We can watch the movies through our front window, right? So here's a great example. East Bay birthday party ends in tragedy. 7 young adults shot, 1 woman dies. Why pay for a ticket to the new Transformers film when your front window is just a couple steps away? An 18-year-old woman was fatally shot, and 6 other young adults were wounded early Sunday at an Antioch birthday party after uninvited people arrived, police said. The woman was taken to a hospital where she died from her gunshot wounds. Antioch police said no suspects have been arrested. Isn't that great? I love this shit, man. Right? That, like, cops are like, give us more money, give us more money, right? What did Joe Biden do? Gave them 3 times they already had way too much money. Joe Biden tripled police funding, right? Hiring thousands of more cops all across the country. And yet, almost every time that there's an actual situation where people theorize a cop may be useful, no suspects have been arrested. The shooting happened shortly before 1 a.m. Sunday, and police dispatchers received 911 calls reporting gunshots fired. Officers arrived to find multiple victims outside in a large crowd that had been attending a birthday party for a 19-year-old man. Police said shots were fired after uninvited guests arrived, causing a chaotic scene where attendees, including some shooting victims, fled into the neighborhood. Some of the victims drove themselves to the hospitals. In addition to the teen who died from her injuries, police said 6 other attendees suffered non-life-threatening gunshot injuries: an 18-year-old man, 2 19-year-old women, 19-year-old man, and 2 20-year-old women. Officials said blah, blah, blah. So, you know, next time you're planning a birthday party, think about it. What is the likelihood of some crazed lunatic knocking on my front door with a gun to my face demanding to eat some of the fucking ranch dip? Think about it. But anyway, that's America. I don't know. What else are you going to do? Oh. While we're talking about guns, one thing that I, again, just want to say, we live in a country where we spend billions and billions of dollars dressing up in makeup. Some would call it drag, right? Getting a bunch of toy guns and then going, pew, 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 right? Like, that's what we want. And then we pay money to watch people who dress up in makeup and go pew, pew, pew at each other. When, again, all you have to do is walk down the street and you can see an action film in your own neighborhood. Let's check it out. Exhibit B, 6 people shot in a parking lot outside of a Houston club. Police in Houston say 6 people were shot and injured after someone opened fire in a crowded parking lot outside of a club in Houston early Sunday. Police Chief Troy Finner said officials found 6 people shot following a disturbance inside the club that spilled out of the parking lot. Finner said one of the 6 victims is in critical condition and underwent emergency surgery. Now, does anyone want to guess? Did they find a suspect? Did they find anybody? Let's find out. Did Joe Biden's cops find anybody? No suspects have been arrested. Wow, who would have thought? Cops, the most useful motherfuckers in the history of motherfuckers, coming onto the scene, staring at people dying on the floor, standing around and not looking for suspects. Who would have figured that something like that would possibly happen? So I say this, next time you're planning on going out to the movie theater to watch Transformers or Jurassic Park, I've got an idea. Go take a walk around your neighborhood. You're going to find something way more interesting and probably for free. So, hey, save $10, save COVID, stay at home, take a walk. Hey, taking a walk, probably pretty healthy for you, you know? So provided you don't get shot in the face while you're on that walk. But anyway, there you go. And then you get to watch these people stand around and claim that they're doing their jobs when they are obviously not doing their jobs. So shout outs to America, everybody. It's a great country. And I'm happy to live here. So bada boom. That's really all I got. Can you believe fucking dumbass motherfuckers still go to the movie theater in the year 2023? Like, I view this as like kind of like an IQ test kind of thing, you know? Like an intelligence test, you know? Do you go to the movie theater in the year 2023? If yes, like, you're just dumb as hell. I don't know what else to say. Dumb motherfuckers. But anyway, that's a different story. Y'all were talking about this in the chat, but I had this lined up. So we have video here. I want to play this video of Interstate 95. Well, let's just say not having a good day. We can see here that the interstates, if you don't know, they're highways, and they were built by basically just, you know, cleansing out black communities, getting rid of them, and building giant asphalt fucking roads on top of their homes. So that's great. So, and especially I-95 in Philadelphia has got its own personal history, but hey, whatever. That's not important right now. We love cars as a society. And anyway, if you have to get to work on time, have fun with that, because this shit got fucked. So let's find out more information here. Part of Interstate 95 in northeast Philadelphia was shut down in both directions early on Sunday morning after a tanker truck believed to be carrying gasoline caught fire, causing part of the highway to collapse. Interesting. The collapse left the authorities scrambling for ways to ease the commute on Monday morning, as well as for weeks to come, in assessing what options they have to make up for the loss on this section of busy highway, which carries about 160,000 vehicles a day. Tanker driving on an off-ramp. It doesn't matter how this happened, okay? You want to know why this happened? Because Joe Biden is a shitty fucking president, and the United States government is illegitimate. It's really that simple. It's really that simple, right? We've had president after president tell us infrastructure, 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 lying to our fucking face. Barack Obama lied to our face. Donald Trump lied to our face. Joe Biden lied to our face. Remember Build Back Better? Does anyone remember this fucking bullshit, Build Back Better? Do you remember this bipartisan infrastructure plan? All of that was a bunch of fucking garbage. It was a bunch of fucking lies. They didn't fucking invest in American infrastructure. What is this, a fucking joke? You think Pete Buttigieg at the Department of Transportation gives a fuck about road safety, about bridge security? They don't give a fuck about any of this. It's all a money laundering scam is what the entire US government is. It's a fucking scam. I need you all to think about this. A fundamental question. The only actual benefit of a governmental institution is to coordinate things on a large scale. What else is a government good for? To coordinate things on a large scale, such as water, such as electricity, right? Such as medicine, such as food, such as, I don't know, roads, transportation. That's their only job, is to coordinate things on a large scale. If they cannot do that, or more importantly, if they refuse to do that, then why the fuck do we have a government? We have a government to make people rich. And by the way, not you. We have a government so that people can, instead of having a career and doing something useful for society, they can wear a suit and do like a bunch of like entertainment, you know, they can juggle, they can like, you know, say a bunch of things and then get some money for the rest of their lives. That's the only reason we have a government. It's a money laundering scam. That's it. That's the only point. Now I say that in that we could use the government for good things. We don't. We haven't in fucking forever. If ever. So I ask you this. What the fuck do we have a government for? Where is your tax money going? It's certainly not going to I-95. It's going to people's pockets. Like Joe Biden, his whole entire corrupt administration, it's going to the corrupt Congress's pockets. They are stealing your money and giving you nothing in return. At gunpoint. Because what happens if you don't pay taxes? Thugs with guns show up to your house. What happens if you refuse to pay tax even then? You go to jail. What happens if you refuse to go to jail? You get shot and killed. So you are forced at gunpoint to give these people a salary for doing nothing. At all. Well, they go around on their television shows and say, build back better, infrastructure, infrastructure. So there you go, America. Have fun driving to work. I don't know. This is another reason I don't have cars. I don't trust the fucking roads in this country. That's another reason I don't fucking drive. I'm not learning to drive a car in this fucking shithole country. Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, driving itself seems stressful enough when, you know, the roads function and the bridges are working. You know what I mean? Like, fucking hell. I'm not driving on a fucking road or a bridge that's gonna collapse any fucking minute now. Jesus Christ. Scary ass shit. I don't believe that using a horse for transportation is ethical. Doing a show here, everybody. Today is Monday. You may have not known that, but today is Monday. So, I guess I'm doing a show on Monday. So I guess, all right. Let's see here. All right. I already got through the dead birthday party. Okay. Let's do this one. So, trigger warning. This is on the Daily Mail, right? Keep that in mind. But check this one out. Target stores in Oklahoma City are evacuated following bomb threats after controversy exploded over company's woke LGBTQ clothing lines. So, you know, Daily Mail, right? Keep that in mind. Like, the Daily Mail, this is like I'm just trying to like come up with like a way to explain to you how fucked up this headline is. But like, first of all, again, woke. What does woke mean? It means nothing. Woke means I want to kill you. That's when a Republican says woke and describes something as woke, it means if I could, I would kill you if I could get away with it. That's why so many Republicans become cops, so that they can kill you and get away with it. So whenever a Republican in any like a politician, just a civilian, they use the word woke to describe something, that means in my world that I could live in my fantasy, I will kill you, and I will probably do the best I can in society that we do live in to kill you as far as my power is concerned, right? That's what that means, right? And so the idea that the Daily Mail is going to use these slurs to describe, in this case, the victims, right? It's just fucking, I mean, this is some crazy shit. But again, several targets in Oklahoma City were evacuated Saturday evening after law enforcement was made aware of a vague bomb threat. Police have not yet confirmed a motive for these threats, but similar threats have been issued pertaining to the store's ongoing Pride Month controversy. Local police said bomb squads were alerted to the threats, but not deployed. I really don't even know how else to describe this kind of stuff to people that don't understand. Right, as far as I'm aware, if you are not, if you don't understand the political dynamics going on in the year 2023, you know, I mean, it's just, like, I get it. Our school system sucks. I get it. There's lead in the water. I get it. People have grown up with lead in the gasoline. I get it. There's poison in the food supply. But, I mean, come the fuck on. Like, if you can't fucking figure out that this is a 1932 Germany type situation going on, you're just dumber than dog shit. I mean, there's really no other word I can come up with than just dumb. You're dumb. You're dull. You're not bright. Okay? Several Target stores in Oklahoma City were evacuated Saturday after bomb scares that involved threatening emails being sent to local media stations and municipal agencies. The Oklahoma City Police Department confirmed the emails and said the messages included threats about 3 bombs hidden in different stores and that people would have to figure out which one of the locations were the right ones. Like, this is like some die-hard ass shit, man. At least 2 stores were subsequently evacuated shortly after 5 p.m. just after... Well, why not the third one? I mean, Jesus Christ. Police notified Target managers of the threat, but left it open for them to decide whether or not to evacuate. That's pretty funny. Police have not yet confirmed a motive. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, cops. I mean, now, again, I know some people, they know the political dynamics of 2023, and they know cops are Nazis. There is no such thing as a cop who is not a Nazi. If you are a cop, you are a Nazi. It's a synonym at this point, okay? I mean, I say it's a synonym always, but at this point in time, it's more obvious than ever. If you are a cop, you are a Nazi. And if you're a Nazi, of course you have no idea what the motive was. So Nazis call in bomb threats. And then Nazis are like, well, we don't know what's the motive. We don't know. We got no idea. In Oklahoma, a bomb squad was alerted to the threats but never deployed. What are the bomb squads operating under? Police. And what are the police's political affiliations? Adolf Hitler. And what does the party that endorses Adolf Hitler have to say about queer people? Kill them all. So it's interesting that a Nazi calls in a bomb threat, and then other Nazis who could stop the bomb threat decide, hey, let's not do it. Also, let's tell everyone we have no idea what the motive is. All right. A Target spokesperson said of the weekend innocent, the safety of our team members and guests is our top priority. Law enforcement investigated claims regarding several stores in Oklahoma City area today and determined those stores are safe. So, someone says that they planted a bomb. A cop shows up. Looks all right to me. No bomb squad was deployed. What does the bomb squad do? Find the fucking bombs. So you're telling me a cop walks in, you know, well, I don't see any bombs here. Everyone get back to work. Like, I'm telling you, what? 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 And again, like, Target, oh yeah, we care about our safety. So we called in a bunch of neo-Nazis to go ensure us that the neo-Nazi bombs aren't going to go off. Yeah, because we care about our safety. K4 television reported it and received the threatening email, which began by saying, we are going to play a game. Yo, this motherfucker. This guy is doing like some jigsaw-ass shit, man. Some jigsaw-ass shit. Okay. The email then referenced the date April 19, 1995, the date of the Oklahoma City bombing. The threat went on to say that 2 of the Target locations have bombs, and then we hid the bombs inside the product items. The bombs will detonate in several hours. Guess which ones have the bombs? Time is ticking. Blah, blah, blah. Target is one of several major corporate brands facing backlash for its promotion of LGBTQ-friendly items during Pride Month. And then you got that advertisement. Then you got this. And boom. So, there you go. Daily Mail, folks. Really doing God's honest work. Man, oh man. I'm just gotta be honest. If you're going to Target for Pride merchandise, come on now. Come on now. Any of the queers out there, if you are going to Target or any of these corporations to buy Pride merchandise, how about this? Go on any online store. Etsy is a decent example. Go on Twitter, for Christ's sake. Search up some queer artists and commission some actual things from them so that you're not giving your money from the queer community into fucking fascist corporations. How about that? Just a suggestion. Anyway, there you go. I am doing a show. So I saw this clip on Twitter, and this is a couple days ago. I think I saw this on Friday night or whatever. And it was the dumbest shit I've ever seen. And I just thought, you know what? Fuck it. It's been a while since I've done one of these like clip reactions. But I saw this clip. And now I just want to say this. If it turns out that this is like an out of context, you know, this person was saying something really stupid and then right afterward they said, man, wouldn't it be dumb if I actually believed that? Like, that's one of those scenarios where I'm open to it, right? If someone wants to send me like part 2 of the following clip and say like, oh, look, this person just said, wow, wouldn't it be really dumb? And like maybe they're doing a satire. I'm open to that, okay? Just to be clear. But assuming that's not the case, man, okay, this is some pretty good shit. So I don't know what show this is. I don't know whose show or whatever. But we have 2 internet people that I know people in my audience adore. We have Crystal Ball and Ryan Grimm opining on Donald Trump's indictment. And we got some really, like we're talking like some really dumb shit here in the 1 minute and 18 seconds of this clip. And again, I just want to say, just to be very clear, I'm open to the idea. If Ryan Grimm, Crystal Ball, want to send me a message and say, hey, here's the full clip. We were just doing like a stand-up bit and saying like, wow, wouldn't it be dumb if we said the following? I'm open to that, right? But, man, oh man, this shit is fucking dumb as hell. I thought it was funny. Let's watch.
Now, I'm curious from your perspective. Let's say it's a solid case. Let's say you can actually get a conviction. My take on this would be, if he gets convicted, I would say that Biden ought to just pardon him. Let him do a week in prison and then pardon him, because I think it's important kind of for the I think it's important that nobody's above the rule of law, but I think it's also important for the public to have a chance to weigh in on this. Like, if he really is the kind of front runner and he's challenging Biden for the nomination, let that go to the ballot. Like, beat him at the ballot box rather than finishing him off completely through the judicial system because of what that could uncork in such an unpredictable way going forward. So convicting him, having him serve something short, but then pardoning him, I think it does produce consequences that would deter and future presidents from whatever we're upset about him doing here. Like,
I just want to say, like, this is what happens when you spend your entire life being like somebody who really cares about bipartisanship. Like, when you spend your career, like, appeasing Nazis, this is what it turns into. Like, this is, in other words, the average liberal, okay? The average liberal is like, man, if we just pretend that the Nazis are rational people, then they're just going to become rational people, right? If we think hard enough and project hard enough at the Nazis, then maybe they won't kill us. Now, again, I'm open to it, okay? If Ryan Grimm wants to, like, say, hey, you know, that clip was out of context. I said immediately afterward, damn, wouldn't it be dumb if we said that? We're really going to troll those people that do clip farming, right? I'm all open to it. You got me. But, I mean, what? Now, again, also, Trump is going to run for president from jail regardless. But it's like, how can you motherfuckers say, I believe no one is above the law, that's important, but also let's pardon this guy for breaking the law? Like,
losing an Iran war plan, or maybe giving it away by being an idiot. But I think the idea of like him like serving a long prison sentence feels too dangerous to the fabric of our kind of democratic society. I don't know. What am I being too soft there? What do you think?
So anyway, I'm sure that the conversation gets better, and this is where the clip ends. But god damn, like, we want to talk about some fucked up shit. Like, I mean, I don't know about y'all. Some people like Ryan Grimm. I personally I've always been a little weird about him because, you know, every time, like, ask Ryan Grimm about trans issues, right? And you're going to get this same thing. Well, you know, maybe trans people shouldn't be burned at the stake and executed, but, like, also they're trans and, like, you know, the right's got a point. They're trans and trans people are a little icky. And Ryan Grimm has been weird on trans issues, been weird on gay issues. I mean, like, this guy, like, and I know I don't want to say he's a bad person. I don't want to say he's a terrible person. But, like, this is what happens to your brain when you pretend that Nazis fundamentally have some logic to them when they don't. Right now, like, Nazis may follow things logically in their own brains, right? But what I need you to understand is that what makes someone a Nazi is that the information that's being input into their system is incorrect. Now, their logic may be correct, it may be incorrect, that's a whole separate story. But oftentimes when someone becomes a Nazi, they believe fundamental things about the world that are not true. Like, they believe that, like, gay people are trying to kill kids. They believe that, like, Jewish people are trying to kill kids, right? They believe things that are fundamentally not true, right? And the only way to actually reason with a Nazi is by acknowledging that and trying to deprogram them. You cannot operate in the same logical realm as someone that believes that black people are inherently violent and they're going to kill everyone and there's a great replacement of white people. You cannot actually engage in a conversation with them because they are not in the real world, okay? It's just impossible, okay? So when you go out there and say, yeah, let's pardon Trump, that'll make the Nazis happy and not kill us all, you do not understand what's going on in their brain. And so what happens is these people being like the Ryan Grimms of the world, right? They bend over backwards to live in, like, they're trying to live in a fantasy world, but they can't because they're too perceptive to what base reality is. But they're just like, they've got this, you know, again, you ever see the movie Inception? You know, like, the most resilient parasite is an idea, right? And what is Ryan Grimm's idea? That there's a magical string of words in the English language that if I just say the magical phrase, that the Nazis are going to go, good point, Ryan Grimm. I guess I had it all wrong. That doesn't exist, right? But he's addicted to it. He's addicted to it. This is like his incepted idea. Like, Leonardo DiCaprio went deep inside of this fucker's mind and planted that shit there. I don't know how else you could explain it, okay? This guy is addicted to bipartisanship, and that always fails because you need to fundamentally understand the Nazis are not operating under the same logical principles that we are. This is a religious mindset, magical thinking. If you think if I just find the perfect sentence, the perfect way to say it, the perfect talking point, that the Nazis are going to finally understand, they're not. That's what makes them Nazis. They live in a different fucking world. Now, you ask Ryan Grimm, he might not even acknowledge that Republicans are Nazis. He might be so far up his own ass that he thinks Republicans are actually logical, thinking people. They're not. They're Nazis. If you think Republicans are anything but Nazis, you're dumber than dog shit, okay? And this is the kind of thing that I see this kind of stuff all over the place, you know? And I just got to tell you, if you don't understand the basic political dynamic of 2023, it's fascists on one side and anti-fascists on the other side. Now, you may be wondering, where's everyone else? Where's the non-Antifas and the FAs? Or, you know, the non-FAs? Where are they? They don't fucking exist, okay? You're either a fascist or an anti-fascist. If you don't understand the game, you're probably on the side of the fascists, right? You're a pawn. Now, does that mean you actively want to kill black people, gay people, immigrants? No, but you're a pawn and you're being used to enact that exact future. So you can either be a fascist or an anti-fascist. Choose your fucking side, and if you don't, you're on the side of power, and what side has power currently? The fascists. So again, that's all Ryan Grimm is at this point. To me, he seems like a useful idiot. He does this shit all the time. He's got that same syndrome, that disease that like the Young Turks have, where it's like, we're just going to base our entire worldview on polls. And if something is popular, it's good. And if something is not popular, then it's bad, right? So that's why Ryan Grimm says, well, trans people, should we burn them at the stake? No. But should they be allowed to play sports? I don't think so. Should trans people be allowed to go to school? I don't think so. Look it up. Look up Ryan Grimm's takes on transgender people. He has had awful takes in the same vein, where he's like, look everyone, look at Nazis, look at me, please, Nazis, please watch me, please look, I hate trans people, not as much as you, I don't think we should kill them, but look, they're trannies, look, they're biological males, guys, look, right? And that's all this guy does, is he is addicted to trying to like create this magical framework for Nazis to be de-radicalized, and it never works. It never works. You can't just become logically, you can't just, you know, there is no magic phrase, there is no secret word that just convinces a Nazi that gay people aren't grooming their kids. If they believe that, they are fundamentally not living in reality, and you need to operate under such a position, right? And so what do you call someone who spends entire years of their career trying to appease Nazis? What is the proper term for that? I don't know. If you want to be generous, a Nazi appeaser is the best way if you want to be generous to describe Ryan Grimm's politics. But I would maybe go a step further. Now, again, if it turns out that Crystal Ball said, yeah, Ryan, what you just said is dumb as shit, and then Ryan says, yeah, I guess I agree, I'm dumb as fuck, I'm willing to listen to that. But, you know, if someone wants to send me the full clip, I'm willing to listen, but it's indicative of the same mindset where it's like, if we just treat Nazis with kindness, they're going to want to stop killing us, and that doesn't fucking work. It doesn't fucking work, okay? So, I don't know, man. Doing a show today. Welcome to the show. Speaking of Ben Burgess, did anyone see like Ben Burgess's epic tweet about Cornel West? Like, man, oh man, I know it's been a while since we've entered real pick on Ben Burgess hours. Which, by the way, Ben Burgess, I think he still follows me on Twitter. Let me check. This motherfucker follows me on Twitter, and I don't think he likes me. I'm pretty sure he still doesn't like me. But he does still follow me on Twitter. But this guy is like, I don't care about third parties. I don't care whatever the dynamics. Cornel West came on my podcast, therefore I'm going to vote for him. Did anyone see that? Like, I mean, at least he's honest. At least Ben Burgess is honest. Like, you know, at least he's not bullshitting us on that one. But I love that he came on my podcast, so I have to vote for him energy, man. Like, that is some really, like, that is good shit right there. Man, oh man. So shout outs to Ben Burgess. He's keeping it real. Oh, Christ. If anyone didn't see it, by the way, I did upload a video on Cornel West on Saturday. Some people sent me his Democracy Now! Interview. And I made my thoughts known on Cornel West. I've gotten a lot of pushback from the third party this time, people. Don't worry, guys. The third party will work this time. You know, those guys, they're coming out in full force. So if you didn't see that, go check it out if you want to know my thoughts on it. But I am convinced that Cornel West is scamming us. That's my opinion. And my evidence for that pretty much is he already knew about the sexual abuse allegations. He already knew about the power tripping. He already knew about the censorship, and he went along with it anyway. And to me, that's obviously indicative of a scam. So I don't know what to tell you, but the guy's a scammer. Whether or not he wants to be, that remains to be seen. But the guy is, not to be trusted when it comes to this kind of stuff anyway. But yeah, anyway. I got one more thing I want to talk about, because this one's always funny. Does anyone remember January 6, 2021? January 7th and onward, when Republicans started to go like, oh my goodness, this is so horrifying, and then they do this resign. I'm resigning. I cannot in good conscience endorse this behavior. Resign! Right? They all, like Bill Barr, resign! Betsy DeVos, I'm out of here! Woo! How dare you, good sir? Like, they're fine. Like, Bill Barr was fine tear gassing people for a fucking photo op. Bill Barr was fine when Donald Trump sent an extrajudicial assassination of an American citizen. Does anyone remember in 2020 when there was a guy named Michael Ryanel, and he was in an altercation at a protest and, according to him, shot and killed a Trump protester in self-defense. The Trumper had bear mace and was threatening to attack him. He pulled out a gun and shot him. Michael Ryanel. Now, whether or not that story is true, whether or not we have evidence, we never got to find out because there was no trial, like with Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse can kill someone at a protest. We got a trial. Michael Ryanel kills someone at a protest, and Donald Trump sends a paramilitary to execute him in the street. Look up the situation, the death of Michael Ryanel. Whether or not he killed the Trumper in good faith and bad, whatever. We don't know because there was no trial. There was a police force. They went in, covered up all their badges, covered up all their license plates, turned off all the body cams, killed him, lied about it. All the witnesses say that every police testimony was factually wrong. They had like 9 witnesses that said the exact opposite of what the cop said. And Trump praised them on TV, and Bill Barr was like right behind him saying, this is job well done. And then that guy after January 6th was like, oh, dear heavens, I cannot reasonably abide by this behavior. Yeah, does anyone? Anyway, with all that being said, Trump is toast in classified documents case. Ex-AG Bill Barr says. Bill Barr is back. Isn't that great? He's back to tell us things we already know. These are the guys that they don't want to die being Republicans, right? They don't want to die being pariahs. So they're trying, that, at least that's my perception. They want to try to muddy the water on their own legacy. Pretty much as it stands, I've been a neo-Nazi my whole entire life. Let me just throw a couple curveballs in there so that when people write my biographies that they can be a little bit more confused. That's pretty much what this whole thing is about. Donald Trump's one-time Attorney General William J. Barr said Sunday the former president is toast after being indicted by the federal government for mishandling classified documents. The government acted responsibly. It was Donald J. Trump who acted irresponsibly, Barr said on Fox News Sunday of the 37 counts. Now again, what about the cops who killed someone for no reason in the Pacific Northwest in 2020? Were they acting responsibly or irresponsibly? Now again, that's the thing, is Bill Barr doesn't care about killing people. It's not about, Bill Barr was involved with the Reagan administration. This guy has covered up so many fucking crimes in his lifetime. He doesn't give a shit about any of this. What he wants to do is he wants to ride on the coattails of Donald Trump, but he knows Donald Trump is getting less and less popular in the mainstream bipartisan liberal Nazi discourse, right? And he wants to convince liberals that, hey, I'm a Nazi, but I'm not like those other Nazis, right? And then that's how appeasement happens. That's how liberals go like, oh, look, William Barr's a good Nazi. He's one of the good ones. Let's spare him. And then William Barr is going to come back with a vengeance at some point. There's solid counts. Even if only half of this is true, he's toast. Barr noted he believed that Trump was treated unfairly by the FBI in Russiagate collusion probe, and with the indictment, I love that word, indictment. You know, some people say it's pronounced indictment. I don't see an E there. Indict. I-N-D-I-T-E. Am I right, people? Indict. I'm just saying. I understand the words in the English language better than you do. Brought by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg in the Stormy Daniels hush money case. But he said the charges that Trump kept hundreds of classified documents related to sensitive national security materials at Mar-a-Lago estate after leaving the White House are a serious matter. The New York Post morning report. No, thank you. Look at this. This photo brings me hardcore fucking this is some hey man, nice shot energy going on in this photo. If anyone knows what I mean, you know what I mean. But I'm just I don't know, man. I'm just saying. I was shocked by the degree of the sensitivity of these documents. Yo, this guy was shocked, really? This guy was shocked. This guy spent years being Donald Trump's personal attorney, and he's shocked that Donald Trump would steal something from the White House. Oh, I'm so shocked. Dear heavens, I would have never seen this happen, good sirs. I would have no idea that this would happen. Come on. Trump is not a victim here. He was totally wrong, he says. So there you go. Boxes and boxes. Apparently he's on tape bragging about the boxes, and there you go. So I just want to make sure people know that when these guys like Betsy DeVos comes out, does this shit every once in a while too, they're trying to market their next book. I'm not like those other Nazis. That's essentially what they're trying to say. They're appealing to the old school kind of Nazi, the George H.W. kind of Nazi, not this modern Donald Trump orange man kind of Nazi. So that's kind of the thing that they're going for. But at the end of the day, Nazis are Nazis. They all march in lockstep. They all hail Hitler just like one another. And I need y'all to understand, no amount of reputational laundering is going to undo the fact that this guy signed off on the extrajudicial murdering of American citizens. American citizens unconstitutionally executed in the street under Bill Barr's watch. Not a problem. And then he bragged about it on television. But now he's so offended. Oh, dear heavens! Dear heavens! I am very offended at this current moment. Come on now. Give me a break. Anyway, that's all the news I got for today. What the fuck is this guy's name? R. Bud Dwyer. There you go. I always forget this guy's name because it's R, whatever his first name. Maybe it's Rutherford or some shit. I would have, if my name was Rutherford, I would call myself R as well. But that fucking photo, some real R. Bud Dwyer energy. We got Max Dog, currently being a dog. He's walking around. Hey, Maxie. Hey, Max. Look at this boy. Hi, Max. So he's currently being a dog. How's everyone's air quality? Anyone out there living with shitty air quality? It's starting to get a little bit better where I'm at. So, maybe I'll try mowing the lawn today. But there you go. I did a Cornell West video on Saturday, so it should be my most recent upload. As of this moment, obviously I'm gonna, when the show's over, upload more videos, but check it out. But anyway, Q-Cock questions comments or concerns, motherfuckers. Hit me. Hit me. No one is hitting me. What a shame. Much better air quality than last Wednesday. It was over 300 at that point. Yeah, I mean, that shit's fucking crazy. I say this much. I mean, I talked about it on my show. Build yourself some of these. These are some cheap do-it-yourself air purifiers, or buy the expensive ones. I say, why buy expensive ones when you can buy and make your own? I say that, build as many as you can, get the supplies for as many as you can, because air quality is only going to get worse over time. The average, the default is going... Look at COVID, okay? Look at COVID as an example, right? Doctors are celebrating. What was the average acceptable death from infectious disease in 2019? The flu killed about 20 to 50,000 people a year. That's acceptable. Now, doctors are celebrating. They're cheering. Look, yay, yay! At the acceptable death range going from 40K to 250K annually. That's good news, right? I need you all to understand the default is going to get worse. The default, what's considered normal when it comes to infectious disease death, what's normal jumped from 40K to 250K in the last couple of years. And Americans are still walking around like nothing's going on, right? And so apply that logic to everything else, okay? If air quality is going to get worse, there's going to be more wildfires. We already know this is all going to get worse. The default is going to get worse. But also the highs and lows are going to be worse. Max the dog is currently woofing at the male person. So, I don't know if you can hear that. So anyway, but that's my perspective on everything. I just, at this point, you need to understand. So if we're in a time of decent air quality, that's when air purification, all that kind of stuff is going to be cheaper. That's when it's going to be less in demand. That's when you want to stockpile. That's my opinion. So what is my skin routine? I don't have a skin routine. My hygiene is probably worse than average. I shower pretty much every day. Sometimes I skip a day. I shampoo once a week, and I use very basic soap. So I don't have a skin routine. I don't have any sort. I personally, I'm not going to lie to you, I think all that shit's a scam. I think makeup is a scam. I think shampoos are a scam. I think quote-unquote product. Do you ever hear people like, oh, what kind of product do you use? How much product do you have? You ever hear that? Like, product being used in that fashion? It's all a fucking scam. It's a scam as far as I'm concerned. Now, again, if you want to look beautiful, if you want to wear makeup, I'm not, I've never worn makeup. It's not for me. I get it. You want to look beautiful. That's fine as far as like an every once in a while thing, in my opinion. But the idea that we are convincing ourselves that we need to like dress up to look like Instagram filters and pay all this money for expensive product, I think that's a scam. Right? They're feeding us this unrealistic beauty standard via Instagram filters. Whenever you look at you ever look at yourself in a cell phone? Did you know that by default, your phone changes the way you look when you look at yourself in the cell phone? You have to disable that stuff. You have to go into your phone's operating system or in your software, your camera software, and disable filters because they want you to have body dysmorphia about the way you look so that you go buy more makeup products and you spend more money in this fucking bullshit. That's my opinion. Now, again, I'm not saying you can't enjoy it. Every once in a while, you want to go out on a Friday night. That's all good. I'm just saying there are people that wear makeup every day, and to me, that's a sign of mental illness. And I say that as someone that has a lot of mental illnesses, right? So, and again, that's a sign that you're being manipulated by media. That's just my opinion. And I'm willing to debate this. This is not like a hard-coded opinion of mine. If someone wants to present to me an alternative view, I'm willing to listen. But wow, yeah, so for me, my routine is I shampoo once a week and I shower once a day unless I don't feel like it. Do I use 4 or 5 filters? I have 5 filters in my cube. Murphy is woofing at Max. Max, you have friends. Max, you got friends. Oh, you saw something more interesting than my hand. It's over. What do you think of Newsom's proposal for the 28th Amendment? It's garbage. I mean, it's not going to do anything. It's not, one, it's not going to go anywhere, and 2, it's not going to do anything. My hair looks good today. I haven't washed it in a week, so. Sunscreen's a different thing. Sunscreen is not, in my opinion, cosmetic. Sunscreen is a health issue. Hello, hello? Where are the pens? I've been using my pens for writing, so they're not in hair length, distance. Goddamn soul life. When I spent a week at a mutual crush's house between the shower and bedroom, like, what is this, erotic fiction? Like, am I gonna buy this shit in, like, the fucking bookstore? Monotypical says, I've been really liking your streams lately. I feel like they're getting better. Really? Okay. What, if I can ask, give me some more in-depth feedback, if that's possible. Biden's Pride event is garbage. Did you see Biden was like, I am going to protect the LGBT community by sending more cops to Pride? Now, did I see Cornel West on Candace Owens show? I saw he went on there and said some really awful shit, but I haven't watched it yet. Maybe I'll do a deep dive into that at some point. My opinion is, I think Pride is fully co-opted, and I'm in this instance, I am in favor of Pride, the original Pride. The Stonewall Pride, that's the only Pride that I agree with. I think the modern day Pride is a bunch of corporate, narcissistic garbage. I think Pride marches are garbage. I think Pride events in the modern day are garbage. They moved from a riot, which was what they should be, to working with cops, working with corporations, and they're also super spreader events for COVID. I was talking about this on Twitter a little bit ago, but you ever think about what is Pride? What is the core of Pride? If you are in a minority group, you deserve to feel welcome in society. You should be proud of who you are, and you should be able to be in society without anyone judging you, without anyone treating you unfairly. So when we have super spreader marches, right, with no mask compliance, how does that leave disabled people feeling? Pride for me, but not for thee. Oh, you're immunocompromised? Pfft, go fuck yourself. Die, bitch. Oh, you have cancer? Go fuck yourself. You're not allowed at Pride. Otherwise, we're going to breathe down your neck. Pride is just a bunch of trash now. It's a bunch of corporate sponsored fucking garbage. And people that go there without masks on and scream and holler with no fucking care in the world about disabled people, I see you for what you really are, okay? All your so-called, look at, you know what, the other thing about it that really fucking rubs me the wrong way is that, now, I don't know about people that are on testosterone, but when you take exogenous estrogen, what that means is your body does not produce it. This is, if you're going through menopause, if you're going through, whatever issue, if you're taking estrogen that does not originate from your body, there is a risk. One of the side effects is blood clotting, right? Which is why typically people that are on these drugs require blood work analysis over time so that, their levels are fine. Now, again, with proper blood work, proper care, proper dosing, it's not an issue. But we know for a fact COVID accelerates blood clots. So let's say right? Normal hormone levels are fine. You get COVID. COVID accelerates blood clots. All of a sudden, normal hormone levels could theoretically be dangerous. So I say this. When people that are trans and are taking certain drugs, gender affirming care that has side effects that also could be accentuated with COVID, I ask you, are trans people safe at Pride? I don't know, man. Yo, Milo, why are you trolling me so hard? You know I am not pro-nuclear. Stop trolling me, man. I swear to God. You're going full, like, what is that fucking guy in my comment section who, like, is a Republican? You're going full Republican. You're lying about my positions. But I say this, man. Pride, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself, Pride. That's my opinion. You know, if you are trans and you're going to Pride without a mask on, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. I see you for what you really are, and you're not an ally. You're someone, oh, I'm trans, so I'm lower on the totem pole, but I'm higher on the totem pole than those fucking disabled people, so I'm going to weaponize that so that they're not allowed and I'm allowed at these events. Go fuck yourself. I say this, fuck Pride, fuck corporations, and fuck cops. Fuck Joe Biden's cops at Pride shit. Fuck fucking all this fucking shit where you go to a fucking Pride event, is there one giant fuck all commercial? You know, it's... Fuck them. Fuck them. So I just want to say I'm anti-Pride. Mila, I don't think nuclear power is something we should invest in. That said, in an alternate sci-fi future, I think nuclear power could be cool. I like sci-fi. I read science fiction. That's all I'm saying. But no, I don't think that we should be building nuclear plants. In fact, I think we should be shutting them down. Monotypical, that is true, but it's also, it's not directly just that simple. Like, I've done the research on this, you know, for my own purposes. And it's like, yeah, like, if you exceed certain ranges, again, it accelerates the chances. And if you're taking exogenous hormones, your ranges are going to fluctuate, right? So, which means they're going to be hitting potential dangerous ranges more often, which, again... the idea that we're having Pride events that are just operated by eugenicist freaks that want to kill disabled people, to me, is disgusting. It's disgusting. And especially when a lot of these people that are going to these Pride events, these eugenicist events, and again, I know right-wingers might use that language, but we're not in the same boat on this one. I think right-wingers are obviously wrong. But I'm just so sick. I'm so sick of seeing Pride being this corporatized fucking trash. Pride marches that are being super spreader events that are fucking killing people. It's just... It's sad. It's sad seeing other minority groups being convinced by this eugenicist and neo-Nazi propaganda by the CDC. Yeah, you're really an anti-capitalist by going to Pride, spreading COVID, and buying your t-shirts and your merchandise. How anti-capitalist of you. I die a little every time I see high-priced punk rock fashion. Yeah, yep, absolutely. But yeah, I don't know, man. A lot of people have been telling me that my shows are getting more and more doomer. I view that as value neutral. You know, I can become more doomer and that doesn't, you know, but I don't, to be honest with you, I fundamentally don't see a way out of this. I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, for me, like 4 years ago, I was thinking, oh, COVID is going to be the moment where normal people realize that the government is screwing them, and then shit's going to happen. And it didn't. COVID is okay. Like, and I know people, they get because they're, I don't want to say if you go outside without a mask on that you're a Nazi, but actions speak louder than words. Your actions, I hope disabled people die. Your words, no, just kidding. I love disabled people. You know what I mean? So, but just seeing things like Pride becoming corporate sponsored super spreader events that isolate disabled people even more. Like, where's the solidarity? Right? And this is the same thing that I was talking about when it comes to like the Ben Burgess and the Ryan Grimm thing, where it's like they spend their lives operating under the mystical notion that if you just create a magical string of words that Nazis are somehow going to see the light. And that mindset leads to you not caring about minorities as much. Minorities are just rhetorical pawns in your chess game. And when you don't give a fuck about minorities, yeah, you leave the house without a mask on. Like, I thought, wow, the government covering up a pandemic that is obviously killing everyone around us. Like, most people in the country know someone who's died from COVID. Most people in the country have gotten COVID. Right? And that's not a radicalizing moment? The government forcing you to become sick and covering up the details of the sickness? And you're just marching along right with it? So when people ask, right, how did the Holocaust happen? How could people be so evil? How could they let this happen? You ever hear that? How could they let this happen? It's the same reason you go outside without a mask on. Because fundamentally, you don't give a fuck about someone lower on the totem pole than you. And that is an action that I value much more than your flowery language. In the same way that when police brutality is such an obvious issue and you see liberals that are going like, we need to reform the police. How dare you? Defund the police is so radical. It's extreme. It's extreme. We need to reform. Oh, Lord, how dare you extremists say we defund them? It's the same shit. It's the same shit. It's just that what people consider being left is not a political mindset. It's a fashion statement. And this is something I had to learn the hard way. When I became like active in left-wing spaces, when I started going to protests, when I started reading a lot more, when I started, I actually thought, wow, there's a burgeoning left-wing movement in this country. And I was wrong. I was wrong. There is no left-wing in this country. It's just different flavors of liberalism. You're claiming to be a Marxist-Leninist? You're going to lead a revolution, but you don't believe in COVID? It's just different flavors of liberalism. That's all it is. That's all it is. Everywhere you look. Podcasts, especially, right? Right? I'm in the internet space. I don't leave the house anymore. I get a lot of my news from online. I try to watch left-wing podcasts. I can't. Why? Because it's different flavors of liberalism. I care about the pandemic 1 minute when it's useful to me. The next minute, I'm doing a live in-person concert with my fans with no masks on. You know what I mean? It's all a commercial. Oh, look, I'm wearing a blue shirt. I'm wearing a red shirt. I'm wearing a green shirt. That's all it is. That's all these people are. They're selling you what they want you to believe about them. And more importantly and more insidiously, what they want to believe about themselves. Do I think these so-called Marxist revolutionaries and these socialists and these communists and these so-called anarchists that pretend COVID isn't real, do I think that they actually like they believe that they're neo-Nazis? No, I don't. Do I believe that they actually are acting like, oh yes, I just want to tell everyone how great I am, but I actually don't care? No, it's a subconscious thing. They're you know, we use the word woke pretty flippantly, but these are not woke people. Like, I mean, I'm telling you this, like, if you don't believe that COVID is real, you are not a woke person. Right? If you don't believe in vaccines, you're not woke. That doesn't... You think you're woke by saying medical science doesn't exist? That makes you woke? Woke doesn't mean anything. Oh, I don't think we should kill gay people. Look how woke I am. So I say this, man. See, Uncle Buck, I don't accept that as a scapegoat. Now, I'm not trying to shit on you, but I'm just like, the whole COVID issue has been a nightmare of contradictions from the CDC. People don't know what to think anymore. That is exactly my point. When the CDC lies to your face and tells you the opposite things 5 times in a row within a month, you should know there's something fishy going on. And if you don't, you're not woke. You're a dumbass. If you can't see how obviously, horribly they bungled this thing, like the cover up is, they wrote it on the wall. They're like, we are covering up COVID. And if you can't figure that out, I'm sorry. And this is not popular on the left, right? I know this because I've been in left-wing spaces for a while. Is the left, you know, whatever they want to think, you know, whatever the largest amount of the left even is. I don't even think there is a left. I think it's just a different flavor of liberalism. But like people that style themselves as left-wingers, right? Like they, like I just, it's such an obvious cover-up to me that if you can't see it, it's willful ignorance that I just can't respect you at all, you know? And the left doesn't give a shit about COVID. They don't care about disabled people. If you're disabled, march into the gas chamber for all we care. I'm a leftist. Look at me. I'm a revolutionary. You know, viva la revolution, Marxism for the win, read Trotsky, I say, as I go to a super spreader event without a mask on. Like, I don't know. So I lost faith in regular people. And, you know, this has been an issue with my family. I haven't visited people in my family in years. Why? Because they're fucking stupid and they don't believe in COVID anymore. And I do. And I've had multiple arguments with them on the phone about it. And I said, I'm willing to do a visit. I'm willing to have like a visit, or, you know, we'll go somewhere, but we have to take it seriously. And they go, I don't feel like doing this. I'm sorry, I'm not getting a fucking life-threatening illness because you're a dumbass. I'm sorry, I refuse. I refuse to get a life-threatening illness because you're a fucking moron? That's not my problem. At this point, when it comes to the vaccine, I mind my own business in general. It's hard to blame people who don't trust the vaccine based solely on everything else the CDC lied about. See, that's the other thing. Is like, this is the same mindset of like, oh, you know, my boss told me to wash my hands before I go to work. Yeah, well, my boss is a piece of shit, so fuck you, man. I'm not washing my hands. It's the same kind of shit, you know what I mean? Like, I know it's not popular in left-wing spaces, but we can't blame the government on all of our problems. Like, when you even hint about personal responsibility in left-wing spaces, people freak out on you. Personal responsibility? How dare you? How dare you say personal responsibility? How dare you? But if someone is so fucking stupid that everyone has this. Everyone has a phone. If you're so fucking stupid that you can't spend a couple hours researching everything about the vaccine, about the CDC, you're that dumb? Really? Like, yeah. The government, they fucking suck. Next, what's part 2? Right, we've correctly identified the government, bad guys. All right, now what? Well, if you're a leftist, now what is you just repeat step 1 over and over again until you become rich. That's how left-wing politics works. Is you just say, government bad, government bad, government bad, give me money. Government bad, give me money. Government bad, don't help yourself, don't help yourself, don't think for yourself. Government bad, give me money. Subscribe to my Patreon. Government bad, give me money. That's all left-wing shows are at this point. Like, yeah, the government's fucking bad. And that's all this shit is. That's all, like, every time I watch anything, it's just, you know, I can't help but notice, like, anytime someone's talking about something I might agree with, oh, but you don't believe in COVID. It's just like, Lindsay, it's just like people say things for themselves to feel good. It's a coping mechanism, right? People think if I say it out loud, it must be real, right? So if someone says disability, like I was telling you this story last week, I went to the doctor's office, and in the waiting room, there was a poster that said disability pride. Disability pride. And none of the staff had masks on. None of the people in the waiting room had masks on. Right? But we love disabled people. Trust me, bro. So I don't know, man. Like, when it comes to, like, politics, this shit's depressing. So if that makes my shows better, then that's cool. I'm happy about that. But I don't know. Like, this shit's fucked up. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I feel like I'm going nuts. Because, like, for me, you know, fucking, when I got into activism, I was like, oh shit. I remember going to a protest with like 1 million people in a march against fascism. You know, remember, like, does anyone remember those Unite the Right rallies? Like, going to the counter protests, and I was thinking, damn, Americans really don't like Nazis. This is cool. We have a movement here. I remember, you know, going to like Bernie Sanders rallies, and it's like, you know, hundreds, thousands of people show. There's a movement. There is no movement. I was lied to. I got scammed. And it's a hard reality to come to. But I mean, it's a scam. Like, this whole left-wing, this whole I'm a leftist thing is a scam. And the scam is, and I'm not saying that it's a conscious scam, because most people scamming you, they're probably scamming themselves. But, I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, you know? My God. Like, yeah, I have to deal with the reckoning of believing that there were millions of people in this country that would stand up for me. And now I know that that's not true at all. So, you know, stand up for me and, you know, people like me, you know, minorities, queer people, disabled people, that kind of stuff. That's not true. They don't give a shit. Right? The way minorities are in this world that we live in, trans people, gay people, black people, immigrants, Jewish people, it's where am I on the totem pole? As long as I'm not on the absolute bottom rung of the ladder, fuck it. That's all they care about. Home, you say that. Yeah, Majority Report was great 4 years ago when I first came to America. Then COVID, Michael dies and the anarchist girl leaves. I don't necessarily, and it gets libbier. I don't agree with that per se. I think Majority Report has... I think Sam Cedar is the only one, in my opinion, that kind of lives in more of a real world. I personally think, and I say this with respect to everyone else that works there, but I think they've gone far too much into like left-wing La La Land. And I know that, you know, people, that sounds rough to hear, but it's like, it's all talk, no action, and the little action that they do is like doing in-person meetups with no masks on, like operating and maintaining super spreader events. And, you know, I just, you know, like, I don't know. I see Sam Cedar as someone who's like a normal person who understands reality. And I view that the other people on there are too swept up in the movement or whatever it is that they think a movement is, and it clouds their judgment. I say that with respect, you know. I say that as a constructive feedback. Like, I stopped watching the show every day because I couldn't handle the COVID minimizing. I couldn't handle, you know, listening to people that I should agree with say, "Hey, remember when COVID was going on? You know, back in the day when COVID was happening." It's not my shit. Those aren't my people anymore. I don't know. That's just my opinion. And I say that with respect. With respect. But yeah, man, I just like, it blows my mind. It really does. So, I don't know. Does anyone have questions? I'm just kind of rambling here. I don't know if I'll do another mapping stream. Thoughts on anarchy? Well, I consider myself an anarchist, but of course anarchism, the goal is to achieve communism, and anarchy is often used as a misnomer, you know. But if you want to say, like, you know, communism is anarchy that just works, I mean, you know, if that's the realm that you're in, I'm all the way in. But I really fundamentally don't see the difference between anarchy and our current society. And I've said this before. But we live in an anarcho-capitalist world. What would happen, right, if the government disappeared? Something exactly like it would pop up. Do I consider myself a Marxist anarchist? I don't like the word Marxist because it has a religious kind of a connotation of like worshiping a single book or worshiping a single author. You know, and you can say it's a secular. They don't believe, you know, that Marx is like some, you know, prophet sent by God or anything. But like, yeah, you know, read Marx and then move on. You know, like some people make that shit their whole identity, and that's fucking strange. So no, I don't consider myself a Marxist in any way. Other than, I guess I have the same political beliefs, but... MR could have stomped their feet about the pandemic and it wouldn't have changed a damn thing. I agree, it wouldn't have changed a damn thing, other than they would have had integrity, and they, Like, here's the thing. They have 1 million subscribers. Like, do you, like, I don't know. That's a lot of power. You know, I have like fucking 40 people to watch my show. Right? Sometimes I get people that send me comments like, oh, I've been eating better because of your show. Or, oh, I took COVID seriously because of you. And, you know, I haven't gotten it, but a lot of my family members have, and they're sick and I'm not. And, you know, some people, and it's like, they have 1 million. Like, imagine if I had 1 million subscribers. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if I had 1 million subscribers and they would listen to me about food, about capital, about COVID, about consumerism. And they would, like, imagine the impact you can have. And, like, I don't, you know, the goal shouldn't be to change society, because we're not going to change society. The goal should be to help people live their lives. And that's why I don't fucking care about this government bad. Look how bad the government is. Look, the government's bad, guys. Hey, anyone know the government's bad? Whoa! Like, that doesn't help anybody. And, like, in any other way than it informs them, that's helpful. But it's not actionable. In what way is hearing and learning about how bad the government is actionable? And then you'll say, like, yeah, the government's bad. You know what they did? They poisoned the food supply and injected sugar into everything. And now 20% of kids have liver failure. So how about you fucking eat better? But people don't want to hear that. Because people don't like doing actionable things. People want politics to be like the sneakers they wear, like the hat they wear, like the phone case that they have, like their desktop wallpaper. Something they look at and they tell other people about, but that doesn't affect their lives. That's what people want. And I feel like most left-wing shows online are feeding the pigs the slop. That's what I feel like. It's feeding the pigs the slop. Like, preaching to the choir and doing nothing actionable to me. And then I say that, right? Like, what, you know, there, you know, like, I don't know how many people here participate or look into, like, health and wellness, you know, communities online. And that's got the exact opposite problem. Right? What we need is a synthesis here. The government is bad. What are we going to do about it, right? That's on this side. And we got to help ourselves and each other, right? We need the synthesis out there, right? So, you know, sometimes I look at health and wellness stuff on YouTube, and I get a lot of people that are like, you know, you got to eat better, you got to fix your diet, you got to do this and that. A lot of them are COVID deniers too, which is weird. You would think the health and wellness community would be in favor of keeping people safe from COVID. Some of them are, but you know, but then whenever you talk about politics, they freeze up. Now, I don't know how many people follow health and wellness communities online, but when you go into any of these groups or watch any of these podcasts, they freeze up the moment someone says the C word, capitalism, right? And then on the political aspect, they freeze up like a deer in headlights when you say, hey, maybe you should help yourself in some way. And it's like, we need a synthesis. Without a synthesis, we're fucked. We're fucked. I like you more now, smiley face. I think the biggest con of Marxism is the lack of personal responsibility. I agree with you. I agree with you. Because people don't want to listen to the hard truths, in that if you're eating like garbage, you are going to kill yourself and everyone around you. This is the same shit. I'm tough on parents. You're not going to see the Young Turks, Majority Report, or any of these other big shows. You're not going to see them do a segment that's yelling at parents for being fucked up. And I'm not talking about abusive parents. I'm talking about parents. Because the default of parenting in this country is abuse. The average parent is abusive, whether they realize it, like it, or whatever. And that's just having a child in this environment, feeding them juice boxes and frozen TV dinners and all, that's abuse, motherfucker. I don't know what else to tell you. Copeland needs a third plane. Damn. He does, though. Well, yeah, home. That's exactly right. And that's what I mean by capital. Right? When someone says, I'm an anti-capitalist, subscribe to my podcast, my Patreon, the government's bad, subscribe to my show, buy my merchandise. Now, and again, I'm not against making money the way you have to. If you're, I would rather you make money selling merchandise, staying at home, than working at Wendy's. That's a better deal. You know what I mean? But when money becomes a priority for people, right? What do I say? Actions speak louder than words, but actions express priorities. Right? When you are afraid to say something that you believe because you want to make money, I don't know. And I made a decision a while ago, like a couple years ago, that I don't care about money on this show. I don't care about money, and I don't care about viewers. Now, I'm not going to lie. I did before. There were times before where I cared about money and viewers, but I don't anymore. I would rather be poor and be honest than be rich and be a fucking sellout ghoul. And most people don't agree. Most people would rather be rich sellouts than honest and in poverty. Now, I'm not in poverty. I'm doing okay financially. But, I don't know, man. I don't need more than what I have. I hit a threshold on my show of making enough money to live comfortably. I hit that threshold about a year and a half ago. And, I don't know. I don't need any more. That said, give me money on Patreon for the low, low price of... Anyway, there's your 2-hour fucking show, huh? Jesus, you and your fucking 2-hour shows. Yep. So here's another thing real quick in regards to the healthcare system. Most people become healthcare professionals for money. Being a doctor pays really well. Most people work at hospitals for money. That's why you see hospitals throw out disabled people. That's why you see hospitals give people COVID and then make it illegal to count COVID cases or to hold them accountable. Because they don't become doctors to help people. They become doctors for money. And that's one of the reasons why our healthcare system, independently, if it even was universally funded, if we still had the same doctors, our doctors in this country are shit. Why? Because they don't really care about their jobs. They care about money. That's the majority. Now, again, there's some doctors that care about their jobs, obviously. But most doctors care about money. That's it. That's why they become doctors. And so, because we live in a capitalist society, money destroys everything. And doctors are one of the highest paying jobs, so people that want money become doctors. Now, again, am I saying all doctors are bad? No. And am I saying that would health outcomes be better? If we had a universal healthcare system, absolutely they would be better. But it's not going to fix the problem overnight. We need better doctors. We need people to become doctors because they want to become doctors. You don't want people to become doctors just for the paycheck, because they're not really. It's the same reason you don't want someone working on your electrical system who doesn't like electrician work. Do you want someone who's just, I don't really care about electricity or being an electrician, but man, it pays well and whatever. Do you want that guy wiring your house so that your house doesn't fucking explode? No, you don't. Do you want that motherfucker operating on your open heart? No, you don't. Now, am I saying we should pay doctors like shit? No. But what I'm saying is we should pay everyone a great wage. We should pay everyone enough to live so that people don't become doctors specifically for money. So, anyway, that's another argument. I mean, look at things like therapy. And this is the reason why I personally don't want anything to do with therapy or therapists. Now, if therapy works for you, if all that, that's good. I'm not trying to be anti-therapy here, because I know that it works for people. And this is my decision. Did you know that therapists have the power to call the cops on you? Yeah, I don't want anything to do with therapists. There's like, if you even mention thoughts of suicide, therapists will just call the cops on you and send you to fucking prison for 3 days as a mandatory psych eval. I say, not rolling those dice. Do I watch cartoons? I watch cartoons that I watched when I was a kid, but I don't know what Loud House is. Yeah, I know not all therapists are like that, Lindsay, but the fact that it's non-zero, the fact that therapists do have the power to send me to prison for 3 days against my consent, that's fucking scary. That's scary shit. And I'm not rolling the dice on that one at all. So anyway, that's why I avoid therapy. But, you know, that's the thing. If you find a good therapist, then that's all good. It's just my personal opinion is it's not worth looking for a good therapist. And I'm not trying to be like, again, if you feel like you need therapy and that's something you should look into, I agree, you should look into it. I'm just saying, I don't know, I think it's kind of weird that therapists have this hierarchical position of power. Because I don't believe in hierarchy. I don't want to... How am I supposed to trust someone if they've got a big red button that can send me to prison for 3 days? How am I supposed to trust that person with a gun to my face? I can't trust that person. Not even close. And even if they do have my best interest in mind, even if they would never use the big red button, just the fact that they have the big red button to call the gangsters to point guns at me, that's an unbalanced scenario that I cannot personally abide by. Did I ever watch Cyber 6? No, I did not. What about when folks tell their therapist they're homicidal? The policies are there for a reason. See, Lindsay, I agree that there should be policies in place, but it shouldn't involve cops, and it shouldn't be mandatory. Like, yeah, if you tell your therapist that you were thinking about killing somebody, I mean, hey, I can imagine telling my therapist about that. I wouldn't imagine meaning it. But you ever say something, God damn, I want to kill that guy. Like, I don't know, people say that all the time. So, like, how do you discern whether or not someone is truly homicidal or not? I'm not rolling the dice. And I also believe that someone would tell a therapist that they have thoughts of suicide way more often than someone would tell a therapist they have thoughts of homicide. But that's... I don't have data on that. That's just my guess. But anyway, I don't wanna shit on therapy here too much. I'm just telling you my own personal take. But that's my show. I'm hungry. I gotta go pee. I gotta get the fuck out of here. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And that's really all I got. I mean, if you want more, go watch. I know for a fact you motherfuckers haven't seen every episode all the way through. So go back and watch. I uploaded a video on Saturday. Go watch that. And you know, what else? What the fuck? What do you want from me? What the fuck? What the fuck, motherfucker? What the fuck? What do you want? I don't know. I don't know what you want. How am I supposed to fucking know?